Well, good morning, folks. It is time for another fascinating science experiment. Now, you can see I have a collection of toys in front of me here. So we're just going to label them, tell you what they are, and then you might pause the video and go off and get your own bits and pieces. A little bit of table salt. I have a clear container of kind of lukewarm water. Teaspoon. Markers. Plate. Some kitchen towel. Scissors, and a chopping board, or any kind of large plate or something to protect your table. So, off you go. See you can go and get those bits and pieces now. Well, I straighten my camera. Alright. Well, we'll go with that. So, what are we going to do? Well, if we look at the ink in a marker, alright, we have a solution. Okay, so basically we have the ink dissolved into usually water or alcohol, depends on the type of marker. So we want to separate that. But how do we do it without making a complete mess of things? Well, we're going to do a brand new technique today that you may not have come across before, and it's called chromatography. All right, now let's have a little think about what we're going to do in this one. Step one, we're going to put a little bit of salt into our water, because this actually apparently makes it work a whole lot better. So we'll try this. Now, this is actually a first for me. I just came across this tip about an hour ago, and we'll give it a go. It definitely works without the salt if you haven't got it, but we'll see if it goes any better. We can compare it to what I did earlier on. Now that we have that, we're going to take our markers. Now, you might notice you have a few different types of markers around. So these are whiteboard markers, and these are not going to work, but I'll show you one just in case. So with your kitchen towel, take one of these, and it's usually easiest if we cut ourselves a little bit of a slice like this. So I'm just going to chop up along here. Chop, 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 chop. Something like that. Alright, make another one. And you can ignore the nice colourful bits if you have them. We want to be able to see what's going on. So what we'll do, we'll take the whiteboard marker and I'll make a little mark on it like this. Okay, just like that. Now, we might take a little moment and we may as well have a bit of fun with this and explain why we're doing this. Well, it's Friday. We have to be a bit mad on Fridays. Once upon a time, there was a little stick man. So I'm going to draw myself a happy little stick man. There we go. Blah, blah, blah. And ta-da. Now you may have a far nicer, happier stick man. He's happy because he's not wearing a mask because he hasn't been in school today. But we'll draw a little character like this. Now what we need to do though is this stick man, like me, is bald. And we need to do something about this. So he's going to give him a nice funky head of hair. Right. We'll put Stickman aside and we'll come back to him later on. Now, as you can see, this is boring hair. About the same size as his head. If you can do that. Okay. And I'll go get one of these and I'll do it with another marker. So I'm going to go and find a little collection of markers that I've stolen from my children. Okay. So it's worth trying a few different colours. Black actually works well. Brown is the best. If you got a brown, go nuts on it. Okay, so we're going to go and draw a nice little curvy bit like that on our paper. Now, very important, it's not at the bottom. Okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to put this into water, and we need to be able to put a bit of this in the water without putting the ink in the water. If you can put the ink in the water, it's got to get a little bit messy. So what we do is just like this. So we'll set this up. All right. I'm going to bring the camera a little bit closer for this step so you can watch it in all its glory. There we go. We'll dip it, just dip it down into the water. See the way the bottom's gone in there? Make sure the ink doesn't go into the water. And we watch. Now, I might go afterwards and fast forward this little section of the thing, but already you can begin to see the ink moving up. So, come back to normal speed now, and we can see that this is beginning to go along. I'll pop it out of the water for a second. You can see there on the camera, if it decides to focus on it. We're getting a little bit of an effect going, okay? You need to leave this a little bit longer, okay? Because, you know, we want a bit more hair than that. But if we take a moment and have a look at what's going on, okay? We see the black ink there is getting separated, all right? I'm seeing some kind of purpley colours down the bottom. is going into greens, the pink is certainly coming out. And what we find is, in chromatography, this black ink is actually made up of a mixture of different inks, and they will dissolve in the water at a slightly different rate, and they will move up the sheet at a slightly different rate. And this is chromatography. This is how we separate out a mixture of different solvents, okay, and we can begin to see what it's made of. Now, what I'd like you to do is try 3 different inks, okay? So we have this one here. If I hold for a moment, yeah, there we are. Here are some I did earlier on. That one's purple, very funky. You see I like a little bit of purple hair. You can see the blue at the very bottom, pink kind of rising up there. We get a really nice effect, and we can see what this guy's made of. That's another black one there. Again, you can see the greens and the purples. It may not be the combinations colours you'd expect. If you separated a green, you'll probably get colours you'd expect to see from art. So try 3 different ones. They can run simultaneously. Once the ink doesn't go in the water, if it does, it'll go right through all the other pages. Okay, so keep the ink out of the water, and you're sorted. All right. And if you try one like this, again, we'll even stick this in just for a moment. Give a little blast. This was, remember, the whiteboard marker. Okay. And as the water comes up over it, what we'll see is basically nothing. As it goes all the way up over it, it just sits there. See, the water is now hitting it at this stage, and nothing, no separation. And that tells us that the ink in a whiteboard marker is not soluble in water. Okay, I'd have to do this in alcohol to see an effect going on with it. Okay, so you might get that. Just try a different marker. The cheapy kitty markers are the best ones. They're the water soluble ones because you can like wash them off your couch when kids make a mess of things. So when you have it all done, what you can do is you can cut it out. Now, this is not a great head of hair. I would like a far better head of hair than this, but we will take a moment and we will just get on camera. I'm going to have to move our camera here, guys. There we go. There. We will see, can we cut this out as best we can? There we go. It's kind of hard to cut out on camera. We'll give a go at it. And as you can imagine, you may want to dry this off. It dries off quite quickly in a radiator if you stick it onto it. So you can get a little bit of one like this. We'll take Stickman. Let's cut out our good friend the Stickman. Ta-da! Happy Stickman. And as he dries his hair, you can give him a cool head of hair. Indeed, it might even be as cool as this chappy that I prepared earlier. What happy Stickman? Go make your Stickman happy. Alright? Take a photograph of your 3 little bits of chromatography, and I'll see you later.